For today's cup of coffee, found out about something new the other day that I had not heard of.
That the world is ending?
No, that's not new. That's not new. That's kind of expected at this point. It was something about a place that used to be that supposedly was covered up as far as documentation and stuff, and it was called Tartaria.
Okay.
And so this is, and it's interesting because there's a lot of these people, it's like, oh, this is a total internet conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, there's a lot of things that they have said was internet conspiracies until they were proven not to be. And that's been a lot of stuff. So it was interesting trying to find something that was truly comprehensive. And the one comprehensive thing, and it does mention it in here, was a CIA declassified document. And one of the links that I will provide, you know, for you in the description box does have a link to this, which is called the Adam and Eve story. But I would like to do a separate video on that document because it's interesting.
It's a story about the sex toy company?
Excuse me?
Yeah, Adam and Eve.
No. Where the hell did that come from? I'm kind of shocked that came from you.
You said Adam and Eve, and I'm like, story?
Story.
That's just the first thing that popped up in my head. I'm like, what?
God. Anyhow. And I found out because I am not a huge social media anything. And some of the social... God, I'm trying to ignore you. I'm trying to ignore you on that, totally. One of the places that I don't go, there's two places that I personally do not go because it's not my generation. One of them is 4chan and the other one is Reddit because I have heard bad things about both. More so about Reddit than about 4chan. But Kid says that it's... oldest kids version of Reddit is 4chan.
Yeah, and my generation is my generation Reddit is our version of 4chan.
Well, all I know is that there actually was a section. Did they call them forums, threads, whatever they are?
Forums and threads. A thread is
right.
Where comments are attached.
Right, and so there actually is a forum on here about Tartaria, and it's spelled Tartaria, but they say that the first R is silent. So
I've never heard of it, so
I hadn't either until the other day, and I was listening to a gentleman that he does astrology and other things, and the man that he was interviewing mentioned it, and I thought, new rabbit hole. And so I jumped on that, and it was interesting to try to find documentation. And so what I'm going to read to you, because it's a little more comprehensive, is from Reddit. And this was posted apparently in 2009 by PissedOffTumor.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. But anyhow, this was... it apparently was somewhere down. I don't know if they had started another thread. Apparently they had, that is called Declassified CIA Document, the Adam and Eve story. If you don't believe true history can be buried, or if you think mud flood liquefaction is impossible, read this. So like I said, this sent me down a hole I had never even, but this goes into some of the things that I had wondered about as far as Earth events. And whoever this is started off that another Redditor sent him he or her some interesting information. Just wanted to share this for all to investigate and research.
Just as we have seen with KGB declassifying huge amounts of formerly classified Tartaria documents, apparently the CIA had some special interest in the Adam and Eve story. It is basically a research paper explaining various Earth cycle catastrophes. It is pertinent to missing time and history falsification theories and presumes many technologically advanced ancient civilizations existed before us.
Huh.
And like I said, that's the reason I want to do the Adam and Eve story in a video all by itself. But this was the precursor to it. And whoever it was you/redacted, had sent, and it states, there is insurmountable evidence that we are the sixth advanced civilization to exist upon this earth, each time getting wiped out by a calamity. I've wondered why America has long had the Smithsonian cover up many ancient artifacts that don't fit their narrative, such as the hieroglyphs in the Grand Canyon or the bones of giants all over America. But then I realized the truth rather recently. Control. Why would that take them that long to figure that out?
Who knows?
And it says, it goes in there, this is where you get the link. The CIA just declassified a document called The Adam and Eve Story, which is about exactly this. Nobody is quite sure who wrote it. I don't know why that, because it's at the end of the paper, because I read it all. It gives, credit to the author. So maybe they didn't read the whole thing. Because it's like, I don't know, 56, 57 pages. It's not long. Because it's big print.
57 pages.
Yeah, it's big print. It doesn't take that long. It really didn't. So, and then it's...
What's your definition of big print?
It's big print.
What's your definition of big print?
I don't know.
Is it bigger than that page in your hand?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's bigger than that.
How much bigger? Like 2 times bigger or 3 times, 5 times? 10 times?
I don't know. Let's see if I can find this for kid right quick. All right. You see this? This print's big.
With a shit ton of blank space in between. So
that's just one of the things. So see, there's empty pages.
So altogether, that would be probably... Scroll down more.
Well, they don't want to hear me scroll.
Oh, it's a fucking book. It's regular book text.
It is a book.
It's regular book text.
It's a book.
That's a shit ton of reading.
It's not.
Oh, fuck that.
It's really not. Now these people are going to be totally don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Same topic. Title of video.
Anyhow, it says nobody is quite sure who wrote it, but they must not have read it. However, it appears to be written by a scientist working with the government deciphering ancient texts and stumbling upon a terrible fact that every 5,000 to 6,000 years the strength of the poles wane and begin to change positions, and when this occurs, the mantle keeping our landmass in its current position turns to jelly, causing the land masses to be pulled 90 degrees while the water on the earth stays put, like dropping an object into a glass of water, then spinning the glass in a circle. Water stays put while the world around it moves. So the world as we know it is obliterated in days, submerged under the ocean for 40 days, such as the tale of Gilgamesh or Noah and the Ark, until the poles finish their shift, at which point the North Pole becomes the South and vice versa. I believe that the rest of the story, which was redacted, tells of the survivors having to live in caves and resort to cannibalism to survive. Now, I didn't read about the cannibalism.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah, I believe it's why the Aztec and the North American Indians both tell of a white man visiting them and giving them seeds to grow and teaching them how to harvest. I also believe those in power know this and want to keep it a secret, knowing full well that if they don't, they might have massive riots and won't be able to keep their livestock, which is humans, docile. What better way to fool the masses than to...
Livestock.
Let's say,
do they got tags like cows?
Yeah, they're called ID cards, Social Security numbers. They're getting this other form of ID, so yes, they do, before the chips are implanted. What better way to fool the masses than to make them think they are being saved, such as the boats in the movie 2012, when in reality they are being taken to a facility where they will be used to feed the elite? How long will it take to regrow enough vegetation on Earth to not resort to cannibalism? Do some research on our poles currently moving rapidly now, and they've got another link there. Then read up on all the elite politicians and leaders visiting Antarctica now. I couldn't find any credible links, which is odd due to how many have been going up there, from the Pope to John Kerry to major leaders. End quote. So, the reference as far as the mantle shifting and stuff like that, that answered questions. I had questions for several years now, and it made sense. And it's like, well, hell. And as far as basically some of these areas were totally covered by mud because the mantle did shift. And this person did a good summation of what it says in the Adam and Eve story as far as how the crust moved and stuff like that. It's kind of concerning.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And that these things happened so quickly, like within half of a day. And there was basically nothing anybody could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that causing a little bit of mass panic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was one of the more scholarly things that I had found about Tartaria. And so I wanted to share one of the more... There were several that was totally bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why people will be going, oh, it's a total internet, whatever, myth, hoax, whatever you want to call it. And this one, like I said, this one is just out there. It was from a website called Unariun Wisdom. I don't know what the hell a Unariun is.
I have no
And
idea.
it's by Saruman, which is, wasn't Saruman the bad guy in Lord of the Rings? I think he was.
I have no idea. Do I look like I watch that?
How do you not? You
Do
are
I look
not
like
my
I watch
child.
Star Wars?
You are.
I haven't even watched the
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a different thing.
Yeah, I know, but that's all fucking included in my opinion. Because damn it, I have no interest in it. I have no interest. I haven't even seen the damn movies for Star Trek. I don't give a fuck.
J.R.R. Tolkien, a brilliant writer.
You want to know a brilliant script? Death Becomes Her.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
No, with this theory, if this happened, this could have been what happened to Middle Earth. For real.
Middle Earth.
Yes.
The core.
No. That there were other continents that when and if this shift occurred, that could even as far as, but now Pangea, I think it was a matter of that broke apart. Mm-hmm. But some of the other things, myths, legends that talk about other lands, those could have existed. And this will be another reason why, if this is so, other civilizations could have just vanished. Yeah. So anyhow, the link again will be in the description box. Somebody can tell me if Saruman was the bad guy in Lord of the Rings. Because my people know who J.R.R. Tolkien is.
I know who J.K. Rowling is.
Well, at least that's something. The title of this article is Tartaria Mud Flood Reset, A Missing Legacy. And this one is out there, so just stay with me. And it says that
I think
Tartaria
you already lost me.
is the first of the pre-Mongolian empire that originated in northern Asia before spanning the entire northern hemisphere. Great Tartaria was the largest empire during its time and would have still been the largest empire today. The empire flourished due in part to the civilization being a leader in advanced technology, free energy, and grand architecture. Tartaria is also where the Greek word Tartarus originated. Now, there are the historical documents that talk about the Tartars.
Tartar sauce.
No, God help, the wrong one. The denotation of lost souls spending eternity in Tartarus. You have totally blown my mind. This is what happens.
Yeah, that's what you get.
In the underworld is due to the Tartarian Empire having been buried and wiped out during the Mud Flood. The world of the Tartarians are literally the world under our world.
So shadow government.
No, they were buried. He's talking literally. Mud.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It says that the Tartars, I can call them the Tartars now, were the indigenous people quite possibly founded by Noah's sons, making up the world-renowned Tartarian Empire. I'm going to call them the Tartars, were a tall people averaging some 8 to 12 feet in height. They would have been considered giants to our current average height of only around 6 feet. However, back then, the height of 10 feet was the average. Like the civilizations before them, whose heights averaged 12 feet, 50 feet, 2 miles, etc., each preceding civilization had an average taller height than the civilizations coming after them, and each succeeding civilization had an average shorter height than the civilizations predating them. In other words, people getting smaller. Everybody going to be like Smurfs. Yeah. Hey, there are people that are proposing that. I shit you not. It says, statures are diminished after each deluge and each new astrological size.
How do they know?
Astrological age, rather, we enter.
How do they know that they were that big, though? Seriously.
Well, now we'll tell you this. You know that thing, that mountain that in Close Encounters of the Third Kind that they went to? Oh, my God. Work with me.
With what? I don't got anything on this subject.
That actually, as far as it being a petrified tree trunk, I shit you not. So... anyhow, it says that civilizations in the current astrological age, which was written a few years ago, the age of Pisces, are shorter in height than civilizations that existed in the previous astrological age, which was the age of Aries. And of course, as we enter the age of Aquarius, they're supposed to be shorter still.
Age of Aquarius.
They lied. Oh, God, they lied about the age of Aquarius. And it says the Tartars were thought to have been breatharians, a being who does not rely on digestion. I told you this one was out there. Who does not rely on digestion and the burning of calories from food and water, but instead receives energy straight from the ether.
This is a fucking fan fiction book or whatever.
Sort of, kind of. But there are people that believe, as far as like the sun, that there are certain cultures and people within those cultures that believe that you can sort of filter feed from the sun. I shit you not.
That's bullshit.
They're not as bad as the people that drink the urine, but...
it's not as bad as the flat earthers either, but they're all crazy, aren't they?
I'm just saying. I have an open mind. It says that the ether is thought to be the very fabric of the space-time continuum that would associate with electrons, the wind, the Holy Spirit, the atmosphere, and the gases in the atmosphere, such as oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen. Since the Tartarians quite possibly had a complete altered digestive system than we have now, they had no need for toilets or bathrooms. Which could hint at one of the reasons why bathrooms in the recent past have been used quite extensively for more as social gathering powder rooms to not only freshen oneself up, but to hear and spread local gossip. There are still cultures today that they go out in a field. That's all I will say about that. The Tartarians were masters of masonry, brickwork, steampunk-style technology. Hey, I could go for that. I could do some steampunk. Universally free energy and grand architecture. Their Roman/Gothic-esque style architecture can still be found in the current guise as water ducts, city halls, banks, water stations, cathedrals, churches, hospitals, and similar public and city works and type buildings. And this article goes on to explain how that some of the ways that it worked, that the chimneys and different things like that were actually like electrical system, that it helped gain, the energy out of the ether. He's looking at me. I wish you could see this.
Fucking clue.
I wish you could see this. But anyhow, and they're talking about how that previously, that churches, cathedral, mosque, and other buildings of worship were originally power stations. And this was funny. The buildings that religionists, I had never heard the term religionist before.
Neither have I. I think that's made up.
Use as places of worship
like this
in our
topic.
In our present day, originally functioned as hospitals during the reign of the Tartarian Empire. And like I said, this
is a script for a horrible novel.
Well, yeah, sort of, kind of. I told you, this article is way, way out there.
It's bullshit.
But as far as the other thing about, the mud flood, is very much feasible. Yeah.
You just want just a sliver of hope in this story.
No, I don't. And it says here, just on this is a separate article than the other one. The epic mud flood is a term that is coined to the event which occurred only a few hundred years ago during the end of the reign of the Tartarian Empire. Buildings hundreds of years old and located across the world are known to be encased in a mud flow up to several stories high. That is true. And in some cases, even completely engulfing buildings entirely in nothing but mud. You can find buildings that have an age of only a few hundred years old and find them to be buried in mud. Windows and doors on the upper floors of buildings are quite often found to be at ground level and occasionally even found to be completely buried underneath the surface of the mud that covered the entire area. Like I said, that last one is just for shits and giggles. But as far as this possibility of the mud flood and Tartaria,
no,
that one was new. Well, you haven't heard the other part of it yet. This was just the introduction to this.
Oh, God, there's more?
Oh, absolutely, because we will be delving into this, the Adam and Eve story. Yeah. So I just wanted, like I said, this was an introduction to Tartaria. There may be people out there that's like, how did you not ever hear of this? Because this has been my world for many, many years, the odd. And it had totally escaped me.
I don't know how I feel about this one already.
This
Actually,
one is
no,
pretty
I do.
cool. Do you know, do you believe that Noah's flood could have occurred?
Yeah, I guess.
Then what makes you skeptical that the entire Earth's crust could have shifted? Which we've discussed that many times.
That's feasible, but like all the other shit that they're saying.
No, I'm not talking about the steampunk shit. I'm talking about the other stuff that had been posted on Reddit.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to use Reddit as a credible source.
It wasn't a credible source on that. It was a matter of people sharing the information and what they had learned, and for people to do their own research. That's what we encourage people to do. It wasn't there that I heard of this. I've been researching on this for a couple of days since I did, hear about it. Mm-hmm. And the people that were discussing this were not stupid people. They have different beliefs, but they were not stupid.
I'm not saying that they're stupid.
Okay.
Wrong, maybe, but not stupid.
Well, like I said, wait till we get to the Adam and Eve story, and then you can determine how wrong it possibly could have been.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, do I believe that there were civilizations that existed prior to all this? Absolutely. Now, as far as different governments hiding information about the other origins of people, we know they do that. Mm-hmm. We know that the Smithsonian has hidden stuff for a long time, and people, it's not just them. I think that that very well could have been the basis of why that the Library of Alexandria was burned. And as far as, I can't remember if it was the Library of Baghdad, maybe it was an Arabic library that was similar to the Library of Alexandria. And why would these places of great knowledge and wisdom be destroyed? That wasn't just an, oh, whoops, somebody left a lit cigarette someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, things that we don't know. So it's a matter of searching for answers and about those who came before. And we know that what we have been told is bullshit.
Yeah.
So just trying to uncover the past and possibly the future. Because if we're due one of those huge earth shifts, yeah. But this had to do with cycles. And even in the Vedic scriptures, they talk about different yugas, which are cycles and ages. And that very much could follow along with what they're saying about this, about these earth shifts.
Okay.
You're totally lost on this, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So, anyhow, this was a prelude to the Adam and Eve story. And I will not sit and read you 57 pages, I promise. I will, hit the high points on it.
Mm.
So, but it's interesting. It is really, really interesting. Kid's perplexed now. So, if you've had experiences with the supernatural, paranoid, the paranormal,
paranoid, yeah,
encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you have heard of this Tartaria and Mud Flood story, if you've got local, regional, family, myths, legends, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And our little kitty, he actually mewed for the first time in days before we started, right before it, turned on the camera. Mm-hmm. And thank you again, anybody who has prayed for him. Please continue. We're not totally out of the woods.
We both were like, oh!
Oh, yeah. Lots of hugs and kisses and pettings and all that good stuff. So know that you all are loved and appreciated. And I thank you all for the prayers. Thank you for taking the time to ponder great ponderings and have coffee with us. So, and we'll see you on the next cup.
And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that little notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Bye.
This is such bunk.